hit it.
Hey guys, Cam from 15, joined by my uncle Daryl, and we are back talking NFL football, the last NFL game recap of the season. Now, I know we're bringing this like a whole week later, but things came up in our schedule where, it's harder to record. Again, my uncle lives on the other side of the world, so by the time we would typically record, I'm at work at Dodger Stadium, so I can't really do anything about
And
that.
I'm still a little bit under the weather. So, and then on top of that, we both work. So,
Yep.
it's, but, we're here. We're going to do it. And, let's get to it.
Yeah. We got a pretty good. I thought this year's Super Bowl was pretty good. Really good Super Bowl this year. Now, obviously, some people are going to say that the way the game ended in terms of the holding penalty, it tainted it in their eyes. At the end of the day, the guy held. He admitted, CJ Gardner-Johnson, he said he held Juju Smith-Schuster. If he held, well, then you got to
And
call it.
Bradbury, he did
Oh,
the
yeah,
same.
Bradbury. My
Well,
bad.
I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster's one was in the second quarter, I believe.
Mhm.
On a third and I want to say it was a third and 15, I want to say. But they both admitted they held, but
It is what it
did
is.
it did it determine the game? That's what's debatable.
Yeah. Um, just my overall thoughts of this game. It was, I would say, somewhat domination by the Eagles in the first half. And they looked like they had control of the game. But then going to the second half, especially with that long halftime, the Chiefs pretty much regrouped. And the one thing that I saw in the second half from the Chiefs is they played a lot better. They made their adjustments, and they show Andy Reid why he's one of the best coaches in the league, in the game of football right then and there. Just going back, I thought the reason why the Eagles lost this game, I thought they had I think I said three crucial mistakes. Yeah, just three reasons. The Jalen Hurts fumble in that first half was absolutely huge. When I
Yeah.
saw that live and he just lost the ball trying to switch the football into his other hand or whatever, and he just lost it, and then the Chiefs defender picks it up and just takes it into the end zone for an easy touchdown. I'm just like, okay, that's a game changer. You look back at that, because that part in that drive, it looked like the Eagles were going to drive and maybe put more points on the board because they were getting whatever they wanted in that first half. So that was one key moment. Another big moment where I thought the Eagles lost the game was that huge punt return that they just gave up when when they went 3-and-out. I'm like, okay, if the Chiefs go down the field, maybe score a touchdown here, well, then it might be game over right then and there. Then I see this huge punt return almost go back for a touchdown. I'm like, okay, now this game might actually be over.
Yeah.
And then obviously the holding penalty, that's kind of way, yes. But honestly, again, I just thought another reason why the Eagles lost is I thought they just got out coached in the second half. Nick Sirianni and his staff just got out coached in the second half. Andy Reid made his adjustments, and they did good on defense. They tackled much better. The Chiefs defense tackled much better in the second half than they did the first half. The offense played a lot better. The two offensive plays in the goal line, the goal line, where they just did a simple motion and they let a guy wide open in the flats 2 times. You would think you would adjust to that play the first time. The same exact play, they beat you just with a different receiver, and then on the other side of the field, it was a walking touchdown. I'm like, you can't be kidding me. You have to make that adjustment. It just comes down to the fact that they made the adjustments. The Chiefs made the adjustments. The Eagles didn't. You could say it might be a sign of the fact that the Eagles got a little bit cocky in terms of their coaching staff, because Nick Sirianni, he does give off that type of feel like he's a cocky guy. I understand you have to have some swag or cockiness, but at the same time, you got to play smart football. And then, too, the defensive line, the front seven, I was actually shocked. I thought in our predictions video, they would get maybe 4 or 5 sacks in this game. They got 0. You're on mute.
I'm sorry. They got nowhere near Mahomes. Nowhere. And for me, the game changer, the literal game changer was that fumble.
Yeah.
But if you look at the tale of events that happened after the fumble, I mean, yeah, the Eagles go down and get a touchdown. Yeah, 21-14, I think that what made it was. And, but if you look at what could have happened if the Eagles didn't fumble the football, they would have been up 21-7 with another drive that they had. They could have went into the half 28-7.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the Eagles were rolling, but that fumble changed the mentality of the game. It actually changed the course of events in that. And then after that, the Chiefs scored 4 of their next 5 drives.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Reid noticed that they were in man coverage and they weren't coming out of it. So that's why he put those guys in motion, because he knew they were in man coverage. And get the quarterback's momentum going one way, and then boom, shift them to go somewhere else. It's really difficult to change your momentum once you're already in a particular position, headed in a certain direction. And Andy Reid took advantage of it. And you would have thought that in the red zone, they would have played more zone. That way you wouldn't have been able to, to counter with that. But they didn't. They were in a flat out man defense. Andy Reid burned him not once, but he got him twice with 2 different receivers.
Yep.
So yeah, the Chiefs definitely outcoached the Eagles. And yeah, Nick Sirianni was really egomaniacal to the point where Jalen Hurts said, dude, calm down. Going into the half like they had won the game.
Yeah.
But that fumble, man, was huge. That fumble, the tale of events that followed that fumble, to me, was so huge that the Eagles really lost the momentum at that point.
Yeah. And then the fact that they just couldn't get no pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Like, we were saying that the Eagles might have the best offensive line after this performance. The Chiefs have the best offensive line after this past season. They have like the best front seven in the game. Yeah.
I mean, Kelsey did a really good job. Lane Johnson, I mean, we said coming in that Chris Jones needed to be the dude to win the Super Bowl MVP. But it turns out the Super Bowl MVP was the Chiefs' offensive line and Andy Reid.
Yeah.
I mean, they got nowhere near Patrick Mahomes. They got nowhere near. And here's another key aspect. And we talk about it all the time. 3 winning ways of football: run the ball, stop the run, quarterback don't make any mistakes.
Yep.
They had Mahomes over center the majority of the game.
Yep.
When do you see the Chiefs do that?
No
and
way.
I mean, they ran the ball right down their throat from Mahomes being over center to Isaiah Pacheco. And I mean, this kid runs hard.
Yeah.
And that was one thing I did not expect. I did not expect him to do that. And I'm pretty sure the Eagles didn't expect it either. But that offensive line, for me, won the game. In addition, with Andy Reid's play calling and that fumble, for me, that fumble was huge. That fumble was huge because the momentum was with the Eagles at that point. If they didn't relinquish momentum, they probably would have blown the Chiefs out.
Yeah. And I thought Jalen Hurts, outside that fumble, I thought he played really good this game, So any haters of Jalen Hurts, they definitely were shut up, that night on Sunday night.
Yep.
He threw
and Devonta Smith had another pass drop that got called back, and the Eagles were smart to try to hurry up and get to the line. And the Chiefs were even smarter by saying, you know what, hey, we want to go ahead and challenge that, just to make sure that we got the right call, So, but Andy Reid is the best coach in football, man. It's just, I mean, Mahomes only threw for 180 some yards, but they ran for 160. So that's the balance that the Chiefs created in order to, make sure they won this football game, because they knew that defensive front of the Eagles, could be beaten, but they had to run the ball.
Yeah. And then even with the Eagles, they didn't run the ball particularly well. They were just getting stuffed on the run a lot. I did think they gave up on the run a little bit too much, and then they didn't use Gainwell a lot. I thought they should.
No, they didn't.
That Gainwell was actually getting some carries. I thought they should have used Gainwell a lot more. I thought he was doing a lot more, getting a lot more productivity, more than Miles Sanders was getting. But it's like they took Miles Sanders, they took him out the game after a few carries, Gainwell. They put Miles Sanders in, and he wasn't really getting nothing. And I'm like,
well, they also tried to run too much with Jalen Hurts, man. They had that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They had it pegged. They made sure that, that he was not going to be able to beat them with his legs. And the Eagles did know it, because they were making sure that, they did a lot of passing with him. The catch by A.J. Brown for the touchdown was really it was a good pass, but the safety misplayed it.
Yeah.
As well as the cornerback on the other side. I believe they were in cover 3. But that was a good pass by Hurts, but even a better play on the ball by Brown. Mm-hmm. But all in all, man, Hurts did a fantastic job. It was just that fumble.
Yep.
For me, that fumble was a game changer. They didn't go into the half for me with the momentum the Kansas City Chiefs did.
Yeah. Albeit, they got down a score, they went right down the field late in that fourth quarter and they scored within a minute to tie the game. They got the 2-point conversion, tied the game. And I'm like, well, then the defense needs to get a stop. But that was the last drive the Chiefs had, and they just went right down the field. I thought a big play on that last Chiefs drive outside that holding penalty was that Patrick Mahomes run on third down, where he just runs up right up the middle, and he just practically picks it up and sets them up in good field position right there.
At that moment, they probably didn't think Patrick was going to do any running.
Mm-hmm.
They probably didn't. I think with the way the game plan was going for the Chiefs, the Eagles defense probably was under the assumption that there was no way that with the way he's over center, he is not running the football. He's got a bad ankle. He also, tweaked that ankle in the first quarter, I believe.
Yep.
So they were probably on the assumption that, oh man, he ain't going nowhere. But Andy Reid for me, man. Andy Reid in that offensive line was that was what sealed the deal for me.
Yeah. Then that's the point at the end of the day. You have a good offensive line, you should win yourself a Super Bowl right then and there.
You should.
So, that's kind of the thing. My camera's glitching right now. Just hold on a quick second, guys. All right. Yeah, back. So obviously after that big run, it's they try to pick up the first down 2 times. They did. Also, another big thing was the fact that what's his face? Jerick McKinnon, he had a lane for a touchdown, but then he did the smart thing, slowed up, and didn't get the touchdown. That was another big play right there, which pretty much put them in good field goal position right then and there. He could have been the guy to just score the touchdown, but he was unselfish right then and there. Obviously, the holding call. Look, at the end of the day, you see a holding call, you got to call it. At the end, if they call it in week 7 and it's right then and there and it's blatant, well, then you got to call it even in the Super Bowl. I think the reason why people are upset is it's because the holding took place at probably one of the worst places or worst parts of the game. To me, does it somewhat devalue the game? Yes and no, but at the end of the day, you got to call the flag. If there's a flag, you got to call it. Trust me. We as Bear fans were mad that against the Dolphins, they didn't call a PI against Chase Claypool, and they just let them play. I would like it be equal across the board. But if the guy said, and if the defender, if Bradbury said he held, well, then you can't really blame him, you know.
Well, I mean, you can't blame him. You can't blame him for, admitting that he held. He took the high road, which is a good thing. But at the same time, though, that's a call that they pass up weeks after weeks after weeks after weeks. So he was probably thinking the same thing he thought last week, as well as he probably thought the week before that. I've been doing this, consistently throughout the season, and they don't call it. So why would they call it now? So I get it. But at the same time, he took the high road. He said, yeah, man, I held him. But, I didn't think they were going to call it. So, and that's why you do it. It's like, if you don't think they're going to call it, then yeah, do it, man. But, hopefully, that the players and the NFL, they come to some type of, accord with this, these type calls. Whereas they'll say, hey, just letting y'all know we calling everything in the fourth. And I mean everything. So watch your hands, but hey man, you got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, and that's what happens.
Yep. Obviously Buckner makes the field goal. Then Eagles get one more drive, but there's a Hail Mary. Jalen Hurts barely even gets it to close this guy.
Yeah.
Kansas City wins their second Super Bowl in 3 years, going to the Super Bowl. So again, props to them, even though they're like nobody likes Kansas City. But at the end of the day,
your cousin likes Kansas City. He was screaming from the rooftops, texting me and all this other kind of stuff. And but yeah, he's a huge kid. Kansas City is his team after Chicago Bears. So congratulations, DJ. Y'all, they did deserve it though. That Jared McKinnon play at that particular moment, the clock is the enemy. Scoring right there means nothing. Doesn't matter hill of beans. That clock is the enemy. And Andy Reid called a series of plays to knock off, what was it, maybe a good 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Point. So, but the Eagles had this game, man. That for me, that fumble.
Mm-hmm. I think if they had gotten, I think they would have also had this game if their defense had stepped up and played a lot better, and they got some sacks as well as got a key crucial stop. Because at that point, it didn't matter to me. At that point, to me, it felt like it doesn't matter what offense gets the ball. If it's still a tie game, somebody's going down to score. If the Eagles defense had got a stop early in that drive on the Chiefs' last drive, well then the Eagles are rolling for momentum themselves on offense. I thought the Eagles outside that fumble, they were really good on offense. Their defense didn't show up. The Kansas City defense in the second half showed up when they needed to get stops. You can't say the same about the Eagles defense, which I find absolutely hilarious how the defensive coordinator for the Eagles, he ended up getting hired to the Arizona Cardinals. You'd think the Cardinals
offensive coordinator too. He got hired as well, the coach. But I mean, I don't know, man. I just keep going back to that fumble. And I just look at everything that happened after that. And I was just like, man, this could have been a 28-7 halftime lead if they didn't fumble, which means that we could have been looking at another Super Bowl blowout. We could have been. Which would have opened up that front four to get to Mahomes. And let's also keep in mind that in the second half, that all Jalen Hurts did was dink and dunk because the defense didn't allow anything long.
Yeah.
I mean, they really didn't allow anything long throughout the entire game.
Other than that, AJ Brown.
Yeah, the AJ Brown, that Devonta Smith pass that wound up getting called back.
Yeah.
So Chiefs defense did their thing, but again, man. Andy Reid, man. Andy Reid, man. That's all I can tell you. He seemed to know Philadelphia better than Philadelphia knew themselves.
Yep. Before we get out of here, Eagles free agents for this upcoming offseason. Their defensive tackle Javon Hargrave who was pretty good this year. Fletcher Cox is also a free agent.
They'll
Miles
let him
Sanders.
go. Yeah, they'll probably let him go.
Oh, you think they're gonna let Fletcher Cox
I
go?
think they're gonna let him go. He's up there in age, and you know, NFL's going towards that youth movement. So I don't foresee. Hargraves is going to be a key as well too, because I think the Bears are interested in picking him up.
Yep.
Hargraves is going to be one that I think a lot of people is going to be knocking on his door.
Yeah. Running back Miles Sanders.
Yep.
DB Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. James Bradbury is also another free agent.
Yep.
Linebacker Kaiser White. Next up, guard Isaac Samuel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right. Safety Mark Epps. Jesus, that's half their secondary.
He got burnt. He got burnt in the first quarter too by Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
So, and we said that too, man. Be like, man, you can't play man on Travis Kelce. You can't do it, man. That dude is too good. But they defended him well after that touchdown. So, but you know,
next up, our boy Robert Quinn. Man, the Eagles didn't really get enough out of him. He had that one big year last year, and he didn't really do anything. He not only did anything for the Bears this year, he didn't do anything for the Eagles.
The Eagles either. I don't know. They mostly play Sweat, Hargraves, Riddick, and Cox this game. I don't think Quinn got a lot of minutes. Or a lot of snaps, I should say.
To me, it felt like Robert Quinn. He got the 18 sack season with the Bears last year.
Yeah.
And then
on top of that, wasn't a lot of passing situations because again, Mahomes was over center. I mean, just
yeah. To me, it felt like Quinn kind of just he just packed it in for this year, and I guess he didn't care. He actually has. I've heard he's actually had a habit of that. Like he has one big year, and then the next following year he doesn't show up.
He bust out, and Ndamukong Suh
he's a free agent.
He got more snaps. Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be doing the same thing he did last year. He'll probably wait around until someone needs a defensive tackle during the season. He'll sign with a Super Bowl contender.
Yep. Gardner Minshew, their backup, he's a free agent. You would think they'd just sign him just to be a backup. I don't know who the backup after him is. Probably nobody.
Maybe. But then again, a lot of these guys is gonna be key what Jalen Hurts does.
Yep.
They're gonna sign him to, once they sign him to a big time contract, what's the trickle down?
Yeah. Next up, offensive tackle Andre Dillard. Again, we made a mention. Sue is a free agent. Defensive tackle Linval Joseph is a free agent. Wide receiver Zach Pascal, and then running back Boston Scott. I can see some of them trying to bring back some of these guys, but it's gonna be all dependent on how much they pay Jalen Hurts, which it looks like just from the reports they're gonna be giving this guy practically the bag. Obviously, he's gonna more than likely get more than whatever the latest quarterback is getting because that's just the norm of the league. Yeah. Unless you're like, your results show that you're just an average quarterback, but still, it's gonna be interesting to see what the Eagles are gonna do. Now the fact that they're gonna more than likely pay Jalen Hurts. What moves can they make? Not they can, or moves that they can't make. But regardless, I think the Eagles, they got a pretty good development staff over there with developing players they bring in through the draft, and then even then they'll still get like solid veteran players to come in and still play good for them. So the Eagles are still going to be a threat with Jalen Hurts at the helm in the NFC East. So I don't know when the next time we'll see them in the Super Bowl. I think it might be a while. They would have to have again, another pretty good team, but you can look at their schedule. Again, some people say, well, their schedule is questionable with the quarterbacks they play. They played a legit quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, and we'll see what happened here. That's kind of the thing there. I can't really be mad. I'm not really disappointed with the season they did. Again, you take advantage of the opportunities that you get presented with your opponents, and you get to the Super Bowl. You came up short, and there's just several instances where you lost this game. The fumble, defense not showing up in the second half. That's kind of caters. We'll see. it may be a while for the Eagles to get to the Super Bowl. Maybe they may never get there with Jalen Hurts at the helm again. I don't know. It's hard to get to the
Maybe,
Super Bowls.
maybe, but they're young in all the places that they need to be.
Yeah.
Younger wide receiver, the younger tight end still. Dallas Garland is still relatively young as an NFL football player.
He's
The
a free
younger
agent.
corner, he's a free agent too.
Oh no,
Well,
he's not a free agent. No, he's not.
I didn't
Thought
think
he
he
was.
was. But they're young where they need to be. They're getting up in age on their offensive line with Kelsey, Lane Johnson. But the defense, losing your defensive coordinator and basically your entire secondary, it's going to be a tough task.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough task.
Yeah.
So, and then on top of it, the NFC East is getting better.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we forgot to mention other two key departures. Their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator both left for head coaching opportunities right then and there.
Yeah.
Chiefs free agents this offseason, left tackle Orlando Brown, wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, right tackle Andrew Wiley, safety Juwan Thornhill, running back Jerick McKinnon, wide receiver McCole Hardman, wide receiver Justin Watson, defensive end Carlos Dunlap, and then Chad Henne. He retired. He ended.
Got 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. Heck, as a backup quarterback, I'd retired too. Of that group, the only one I can honestly see them re-signing is maybe the right tackle Wiley. Mm-hmm. He did very well this game. He had that stupid penalty in the AFC Championship game, but other than that, I think he did really well. I think he earned a contract, which he probably may get. I can't really see them re-signing anyone else of that group. Mecole Hardman has, for the most part, just been for me anyway, a disappointment as a wide receiver. Yeah, he's fast, but that's just about it with him. I can't really see them re-signing anybody else other than Wiley.
Okay. And then also another key departure they had is Eric Bieniemy. He left to go take the offensive coordinator position for the Washington Commanders.
Well, they have him listed as an associate head coach / offensive coordinator. Basically, what I think it is that, man, you have people that are just like, man, we all know Andy Reid is calling them plays. You ain't calling no plays. So, no, man, we're not going to hire you as a coach. If you want a head coaching job, you better get away from Andy Reid to show you can do it. So that's why I'm assuming that's why he left, to try to separate himself from Andy Reid, see if he can get a head coaching job. And if he can do it there, yeah, they're gonna be kicking this door down.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think the Chiefs already said if they have their backup plan is Matt Nagy as the OC. So Matt Nagy not only leaves the Bears after his tumultuous freaking years, benefits off a free Super Bowl win, and now is the offensive coordinator again, probably not calling plays, and some stupid organization is going to believe that Matt Nagy's calling the plays again.
Yeah,
but in reality, it's probably
he'll get a job too.
It's Andy Reid calling the plays, and on top of it, the play calls that if Matt Nagy was calling the plays would supersede that because he has the talent to back that up.
Correct. And that was the deal with Bieniemy. It was like, dude, man, you got the best quarterback in the league and the best head coach in the league who's calling y'all plays and setting up y'all game plan. Why would we think under any circumstance whatsoever that you're the one that's doing that? So I see why Bieniemy's not getting the job. A lot of people are going to say it's because he's black, and that may be the case. But he needs to separate himself from Andy Reid to show the rest of the team in the NFL that, yeah, I know what the heck I'm doing. Now, granted, yeah, I'm under Reid, best coach in the league, Pat Mahomes, best quarterback in the league. So it doesn't really look like I'm contributing anything. But, yes, I contribute something.
Yeah. You better have a breakout year with Washington. That's all I can say. You better have Washington.
Well, they better get a quarterback.
That's the problem.
That's the thing. They better get a quarterback. Forget all of that other stuff, man. You ain't got no quarterback. I don't care who your coach is.
That's why I was questioning, like, why would you take Washington out of all teams? I understand maybe just going to prove yourself, but Washington,
Well, I mean, the only problem with Washington is they don't have a QB.
they don't have a
They
QB, and then again, they got some defensive free agents,
they
De'Aaron
got,
Payne.
they got basically everything. Well, keep in mind that Bieniemy is an offensive head coach, so defense is his side of the ball. So I'm sure that's not his concern. His
Oh, I know.
concern,
Yeah.
but he's got wideouts. He's got a tight end. I mean, well, we'll see what kind of tight end they got, but they got a decent offensive line. I mean, they were really decently successful in that division
Mhm. Yeah.
without a quarterback.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm rooting for him though, because he obviously wants to separate himself from Reed and Mahomes.
Yep. But other than that, that's it for the 2022-2023 NFL season. My overall thoughts of this season, I thought it was really good. There was just all these great teams, even though our Chicago Bears weren't good, just again, we haven't made our overall, season review for the Bears, but there was a lot of good, moments, a lot of shocking moments, a lot of great playoff moments this year. I thought this season was good in all totality, and I'm to miss football for now, but technically not, because right now the XFL is playing, so I have to go catch up with the games I missed. So yeah, but overall football, I enjoyed my NFL season this year. I'm definitely excited for next year. Not only for my favorite team, the Bears, but just to see what's going to be happening for next year with all these free agency moves and things like that, and where certain players are going to go, what players
Yeah.
may stay, things like that, how the draft's going to, shift up and things like that. But, the one good thing is, like I said, we got the XFL right now. USFL will be coming back in the spring. So you got football, I guess, year round now. So, you can either
Yeah.
watch that or go watch basketball, what's left of the regular season, or go watch baseball when that gets started up. I'm
Yeah.
pretty much reluctant to watch baseball, even though it's not my team, but whatever.
Well, the NFL will not lack in any events moving forward. I'm really looking forward to the draft. I'm really looking forward to free agency, especially considering the Bears have an influx of money. They have more cap room than anybody else in the league, and we Bear fans are actually watching very closely to see what the Bears do with that money to try to rebuild this organization. The NBA, you know how it is with the NBA, it really won't get really good
Yeah.
until
Already at the All-Star break.
we're already at the All-Star break. That's when those last minute playoff pushes arise. So I think that'll pick up. Baseball is just around the corner, but at the same time, it's spring training, so it's nothing to really truly get excited about.
Well, at least the World Baseball Classic about to get started up in March, though.
That's true. That's true. That's true. So we'll be looking forward to that. But the Bears are going to be in Germany.
But they haven't confirmed it. They're a high favorite.
They haven't confirmed, but the Bears and Chiefs are real big favorites to be here next football season. And again, like I say, the draft, the owners meeting. So we still have a few things to look forward to as far as the NFL is concerned. I'm actually looking forward to the Birmingham Stallions this year.
For the USFL?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing them this year. We should be in the States, so hopefully I'll be able to catch a game. But other than that, yeah, I mean, we still got a few things going. I still want to do something that talks about the top 10 free agents in the NFL, because we got some doozies coming up, with number one, in my opinion, being Lamar Jackson, trying to figure out what he's going to do and where he's going to go, because obviously the Ravens ain't going to sign him.
They'd be stupid not to do that.
Yeah, they either they're not going to sign them, or Lamar Jackson don't want to play for them.
What, they were just franchise tag him, though.
They could. They could.
Piss him off a little bit more, though.
Correct. So we'll see. I mean, keep in mind, what's his name for the Vikings? The Vikings quarterback was franchised 3-4 times?
Yep.
Before they gave him a contract.
Yep.
So it can happen. So, but we'll see. But I think we got a lot going on in the NFL. But I do want to do that the 10 top free agents.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll
Yep.
start I'll start compiling a list and we can compare notes for a video.
Yep. So I guess that's one video. We got to see if we can schedule something with my boy Matt Swarmstead to have a Tom Brady retirement video, talk about Tom Brady retiring from the league.
Yeah, I would actually like that because I do like Tom Brady.
Probably NBA. Well, I'm not really interested in talking about trade deadline stuff. That's already passed.
No, we could talk about trade deadline stuff, but it's the NBA. I'd say we could wait when the games start to get a little, right before the playoffs or that month leading to the playoffs. But NBA for me has not been this hasn't been a great season for me.
Yeah. We're not going to talk XFL or USFL. I can't keep up with those games. Again, I'm only like just in the second quarter of Houston, the Arlington Renegades and the Tampa Bay Vipers, or not the Tampa Bay, the Las Vegas Vipers now. So yeah, but other than that, that's kind of the thing there. So we'll try to get these videos out as much as we can with our schedules all busy and things like that. But anyways, we're gonna get over. If you guys catch the video or guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, as well as hit the subscribe button. If you want to get more Camp 15 content on the channel. Till then, guys, peace.